Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first fan cams of 2026. How are we all? Let me just close that. Of course, as usual, not set up and ready to go, but first fan cams, first official practice match of the year. And look, I think we learned plenty, didn't we? Good and bad. I think most people, if they're honest, didn't think we were going to win and not really looking for a win. I know you get the dopamine hit from a win, but I think this was about, we know practice matches don't mean anything in the scheme of things. So this was more about seeing little incremental signs that things are working, giving players exposure, particularly the young players. I think there was a lot to take, as I said, good and bad. So, but I really just want to hear from you guys. There's the link. Jump on, join me for a chat. Moby, thank you so much. Very much appreciate you and your support. Also, thank you to all the members. The membership is growing largely, and I'm so grateful for all of you. The link is in the chat as well if you'd like to support in that way. Hello to everyone who's here. Hello, Brett. You're happy with the effort and intent? Yep. Dave is here. How are you, Dave? Yeah, there was a few actually. The stand rule, I think, it was down to for sure. How are you, Noel? That's it. Are we losing? I saw Jake from Saints TV this week has tipped us to win the wooden spoon. So that wasn't very fun to watch. But you know what? It's hard to say because in this grand scheme of things, that is very much a possibility. We could absolutely win the spoon. We could absolutely finish 10th. We could absolutely finish 6th. Like, who knows? Who knows? All right. Look, I think the midfield today was supremely disappointing, but it's a practice match, so we don't overreact. Repeat after me. We do not overreact. Maz is here. How are you, Maz? GS1, nice to meet you. Beaten by a better team. Yeah, I don't know where you all sit in terms of how good you think St Kilda are going to be, but does it really matter when you've got Naz? That guy is seriously special. Seriously special, right? I think he's anywhere he goes on the ground, and we can assume that we didn't plan for him, but of course teams plan for him. He's just Nick Dacos like. He's going to get on the end of the ball multiple times, and he's going to be very proficient when he's got it. So Pot CM, good signs. Tell me more. What did you like? Hello, Atush. How are you? Ben Mackay Masterclass. I don't know if you're being facetious here. I think Jared Healy's not all right up there, but I thought he had a very good game up until 3/4 time. Marshall and De Koning barely had a touch when they were down there, and he was on Owens a bit interchanging down there, and he didn't have a goal. So I thought his positioning was very good. You talking about you being Carlton winning the flag? I'm happy for you to believe that. I don't think we are. You got your delivery. Oh, that's so good. I'm so happy to hear, members. I've sent pretty much all of them out, so you should have a little postcard and a little gift in the mail somewhere. Scott, how are you? Back to reality, I think, after last week. Now I have to sell my grand final tickets. Yes. I think that's facetious, but yeah, you can replan your September plans, hey? All righty, let's talk to some legends. Hello, Lucky.
Hey, how you doing, Fiona?
I'm good. Welcome to Bobber Banter and to your first fan cam.
Yeah, first time. Thought I'd share some opinions.
Love it. More than welcome. Hit me. What'd you think of today?
I think it just kind of showed us more, where we need to head for the future is more kind of developing the kicking inside 50. That's kind of really what disappointed me today.
Yep.
I was sitting on the couch and I was just like, geez, it's not ideal.
Yeah.
Especially because 2 meter Peter, like once you take him out of Marvel, you can't really stick him in the hands.
This is true, and he's kind of the only one aerially that. I mean, Langford is pretty good aerially in moments, but I think when we isolate,
but he's more kind of the player you hit on a lead than rather up, in a pack. So
But we keep kicking it up in the air, which is your point.
Yeah.
So that's no good.
Yeah, I mean, I think Zach Johnson was probably my big positive today. That he was unreal.
Yeah, agree.
And Archie Roberts, yeah, he's got it. He's a lock, surely.
Yeah, I think
other than him, who do you really think is going to play off halfback? It's either him or Farrell or Contagianis.
Yeah. After today, I think even when I think in the first half he was running at about 60% efficiency, but I think he has so much other scope to his game. His decision making is very good. So I personally, I'm convinced. I think he has to play round 1 for me, Lockie.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think there's definitely been a bit more, like you can see with his running how much it's improved over the off season.
Yeah,
like last year, I think. I remember in that Brisbane game, he was matched up on Kyle Lohman, and
great point.
And I think there's a bit less of that and definitely more damage on the other way. Like, how many touches did he have today?
Yeah,
24.
We have some happy dogs.
Yeah,
loving. I'm taking that they enjoy Zach Johnson's work as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, every time he got the ball on the screen, they were barking. So
love it. Some Zach Johnson fans. Yeah, so he had 24, and what did he end up with in terms of his how many kicks?
10. So, I mean, you probably could hope he'd be kicking it a bit more, but
there was
and then other than that, I thought overall, like last year, we played against Geelong in the preseason and we won, sorry, and that didn't really matter anyway. So
exactly.
So, you're not really worried about results, more just looking for like players like Sharp and Farrow and Contagianis and see how they kind of progress.
How do you think Condo went?
Condo was good. I mean, from what you hear, he loves to take on the game, and that's pretty much what he showed. And
yep.
My dad's just got home from cricket.
That's okay. It's a full family affair in Bonavanta. Dogs, parents.
Yeah, that's how I got onto this because he watched it all the time. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, make sure you shout out your dad for me.
I will. I'll let him know that I'm on after.
Please do. Yes, I'm sure he'll be watching the replay. So, hello, Dad, wherever you are, whenever you're watching. Hope you won cricket. Yeah. If that's what you do at cricket, you in cricket.
They did. Yeah, they did.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. No, he was good. I'm not sure about round 1 yet. I think you probably can put him in a bit later.
Mm-hmm.
I just think I don't know. Sometimes it's a bit too much with running, taking on the game. You said that a fair bit as well, I think.
The balance, yeah. It's about. I think a lot of these kids, including Archie Roberts, I include Archie Roberts in that too. They've just got to find that balance. They want to create. They want to make things happen for the team and for the ball movement. But with a team like St Kilda that really pressure and suffocate the ball carrier, sometimes you need to know when you got to just stop, prop for a second, not slow the game down and go backwards, but just for a second to take a breath and reassess the options up the ground.
How did you think our players kind of like mentally were towards the last, we've shown previous years we kind of have those spurts where we have 5 to 6 goals kicked on us pretty quickly. Or did you think that we kind of, I don't know, were you a bit disappointed in that as well?
I thought in the third quarter we really lost our bundle a little bit. I think we were generally pretty competitive. Chat, what do you think about that too? I got the feeling that we were generally pretty competitive, and in the end we ran out of steam. But that third quarter they really upped the ante, and we just forced turnovers. We couldn't get it out of our defensive 50 without turning it over. So. Look, I don't think we dropped our heads. I certainly think the midfield. How'd you see the midfield group? I think they certainly didn't work as hard as they should have.
I think that was probably the one thing if I'd single out of this game, I was disappointed in. It was the midfield, and probably the main three who you're like, like Caldwell, Merritt, and Parrish sort of Durham a bit as well. Yeah. We're all like, to me, levels below what you expect from them.
Spot on.
And that's probably why the game turned so heavily at the end, because once we stopped getting first use of it, it's just with Ross Lyon's teams and with how the new ruck rules are, you have to get first use and sort of go at them when everything's even, when everything's 6-6-6.
Yes.
Otherwise, once he starts flooding numbers back, there's
no hope. Yeah, we got spanked out of the middle, 18-9. So I just think go.
Was that the end stoppages?
Yeah, they're the centre bounce clearances. So stoppages, we actually matched even 28-29. Well, we were 29, but it was the centre clearance. And I haven't looked into the stats. How many of those? Someone in the chat, if you've got those stats handy, how many of those clearances led to goals for the Saints? But we just couldn't get our hands on it in the middle. So I thought that really. Yeah, no, we were down, TL. We were down 9-3 in clearances at halftime and ahead on the hit out. So, Lucky Blackiston, how'd you see his game?
Yeah, I was pretty happy with him. I thought his handballing at sometimes was a bit sloppy for mine.
Yep.
I was a bit disappointed in that. There was a couple of times where we're out, and then he had just a slow handball, and it kind of ended momentum. But in that hit out centre bounce, like he's just gonna, there's gonna be some blokes he's gonna kill during the year, I reckon. Especially Hawthorn. Yeah. I reckon Hawthorn round one, he'll take him to pieces. They're two slow rucks that they've got.
True, the big boys. Do they play both?
I reckon.
Yeah, they play both.
No, probably not. Probably not with the new rules. I think they only played. I know Reeves, but what's the other guy's name? Meek. Yeah, I think they played Meek last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does this tell you, do you think we take much from this game in terms of how our year's going to pan out? I mean, we saw some signs, I think, that some of the things we've done really poorly in the past, like you mentioned, lowering the eyes, going into 50, stuffing around with the ball, overusing the ball, coming out of half back. I think we saw some of those habits creeping in. So we've got things to work on, that's for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, to be fair, we're not really expecting for that top 10, top 8 spot anyway. But I think the things we take out of today are really just the performances from the young guys. And, you kind of, the midfield's they're going to pick up. They're good players. Like, that's not always going to be the case.
That's true.
But yeah, I mean, it was a little disheartening to see that none of the inside 50 stuff got a bit better. Like, I'm not a big fan of when we try to lump it on Peter Wright's head.
This continues to feel so chaotic down there. And I know St Kilda flooded the forward line, but even last week, so many numbers, we really have space to work in.
Yeah, and I guess it's probably one thing I thought was that there wasn't enough changing the angles with short kicks. We get stuck around the wing, and then like I saw it Merritt specifically had an opportunity to go to Huss, I think, short. And then just like bombed it down the line to Caddy or something. And and just the St Kilda guys just punch it out of bounds every time. Yeah. Because today at least we're getting killed at stoppages,
Yeah. And you'd think a more experienced player like Merritt is going to have the ability to lower the eyes a bit more,
Yeah. But I mean, I've heard from you specifically that his kicking's been pretty average in preseason. So I guess that's a new thing for him.
Yeah, it has. But even just the decision-making, like to not go that first option or to not even make an attempt. Like if you miss the kick, you miss the kick, you got to do better next time. But yeah, some of the decisions, I think I didn't mind. We actually had more tackles inside 50 than them, which was a kind of a first for us. I mean, I guess that's because it was so chaotic and so much happening, so much congestion down there. But we did have 11 inside 50 tackles, so that was pretty good. A good sign. I guess
that's the thing with Sharpie. You move him around, he's going to get tackles no matter where he goes.
So true.
That's the thing. That's the big thing, I think. For me, at least, thinking between him and someone like Elijah Sardis is that his tackling is so much better. He kind of moves like a Sardis and a Perkins, but he's got that defensive game a lot more. So,
and that's why I think he's more.
Oh, so I think that's gonna keep him in the best 22 for the season.
Yeah, I think that's going to make him more in favour, definitely, because he can go down forward and rest there and be quite proficient down there. Whereas, yeah, I'm not sure Sardis is. What do you make of Perkins? What do you want to see from him this year?
Look, my mates will all say, when he got drafted, he was like my favourite player, but I kind of, after last year, I kind of gave up on him a bit, and I'm a bit down on him. I don't see it. He could be okay as a deep forward, but he's not quick enough, and I don't know. He's an all right mark, but I just don't see much of him defensively, and I don't think it's kind of going to be good for us as a future if we're having more blokes like a Stringer who we can't rely on out the back or out the forward in the forward line.
Yeah, it's his defensive, his two-way defensive running. Look, I think today was about just getting some minutes into him. I mean, it could be argued that he probably should have played in the VFL tomorrow, given his off-season has been quite interrupted. So not too sure on that decision-making, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's because it's one of his favourites, as Grant loves to say.
Oh, really? He's a favourite of Brad Scott, you reckon?
Well, that's what Grant seems to think.
Okay. Righto. Yeah, maybe potentially. I don't know whether he sees him as a role player because offensively he's so good. He can turn a match. He's a match winner. But I think in this day and age, if you don't have some defensive nous, you probably can't fit into a system.
Yeah, there's not really any AFL level footballers out there who don't do that, except for someone like Nick Dacos or
True.
One of those top elite guys, which Perkins isn't one of those guys.
Yeah. It'll feel like such a waste, I will say that. It will be really disappointing if he can't. Yeah,
especially when you got blokes like Guelphy and not Gresham, but Guelphy and maybe Kako or whatever on the pine at the moment. Like having a bloke who can chase and tackle and play a role on someone, it's quite disappointing to have Perkins in there instead.
Yeah. Are you heading to the Hawthorn game?
I will be. Yep.
Good.
Be there with my dad, and we'll have to rein him in because I know he'll get a bit angry.
I think there's some extra fire in the belly for this round round one game. Lucky, I think.
I think he's watching. He's just heard me.
Well, Dad. No, nothing wrong with a bit of fire in the belly.
Exactly. I'm no stranger to that either. I do it as well. I'll fire.
Oh, me too.
Once I see the wheeze and poos out there, I'll fire.
Oh, me too. Any game really, but me too. Round one is definitely got the extra fire. That's for sure. Well, thank you for jumping on, Lockie. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
I absolutely hope to see you and your dad more often throughout the season. But well done on your debut. Lots of positive comments.
Thank you.
So take it easy and I'll talk to you soon.
Have a good one.
Gotcha. How good's that? What's happening in the chat? You're behaving? Haywood and Spoon Data. How are you? You guys did better than I thought you would. Might surprise a few this year. I think if you're on the Essendon are going to be really, really shit and finish bottom 4 bandwagon, this performance was probably better than what you expected. But if you have us finishing maybe 10th to 12th, this performance may be below what you were expecting. So I have us finishing 14th. I think that's what I have. I'll have to double check my notes, but I have us finishing 14th. So this wasn't overly disappointing for me. Nuffy, Zach Johnson stocks are up. Yes, he did. Somebody tell me quickly what percentage of disposal efficiency did he finish on? Thank you, Jeremy. If you got a membership from Jeremy, say thanks. Richo, not chuffed with that performance. Some good signs, but when under pressure, those quick kicks to nobody killed us. Yeah, it's a practice game, so hopefully it was one off. I think that's a pretty level-headed overall summation from you, Richo. We certainly didn't absorb the pressure like we could, like a top team. You kind of know what the Saints are going to throw at you. But anyway, hello, Aiden.
Hello.
How are you?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Good. I'm doing really well. How'd you see the game today?
The first half was okay. The second half a bit disappointing.
Yeah, I think so. Anything specific that you... Okay, let's talk about the things you liked first. What did you like?
Jaden Ewan,
Mm,
Zach Johnson, both had very strong games.
yeah,
Kondo in the second and third quarter really stepped up. Yeah, they're the main ones. Caddy was all right too.
yeah. I was watching Kondo. He was lined up a bit on a couple of times on Naz when Naz went forward. I just thought, oh, this is some good education for the kid.
Yeah, I think the main problem was we weren't able to shut down Naz. It always felt like the Saints'
Yeah.
main move is kick it to Naz and he'll do something.
Yeah, so true. What a luxury to have. Like if when everything's going to shit or if everything's going really well, just kick it to Naz.
Yeah, that's what felt like their only real move today. The back half and their forward half were solely connected by him, and on occasion Windhager as well.
Yeah, Winhager was very good. He got going in the second half, and
Yeah,
our mids didn't kind of step up to the level as well simultaneously. So there was just such an imbalance.
yeah.
So
As for the things I
yeah,
didn't like, I don't think we were looking to kick it into the middle enough to move the ball fast. I also found that, as I said before, we didn't change the angles enough. And at times it feels like we're just not desperate enough in defending. So teams like Brisbane and Geelong will always find a way to turn it into a point or kill the ball. It feels
Yep.
like we just allow Saints to get it out the back and kick a goal every time there's a stoppage.
Yeah, they. It certainly feels like against the even better teams than St Kilda, we just get killed. Is that so? Are there main culprits to that, or do you believe it's a system issue?
I just think it's a mentality thing. It's
Okay.
more, some teams you see like even trying to smother, they'll die for it.
Yep.
Whereas a lot of us will just put our arms up and kind of lean forward over it. I notice it a lot with like Clark. But even like, yeah, diving for it, showing like true desperation to stop the ball moving at all costs. And it's something that
Yep.
we kind of lacked for the past few years.
Is there a certain area of the ground that?
I think that happens mainly in the back half in defensive transition.
Yeah. Okay. So
Um,
yeah,
yeah,
I guess that's a breeding like that kind of. If one player does it, then it breeds. You know, in both ways. If one player is doing it, you're motivated and inspired to do it. But yeah, interesting.
yeah. I think that's just something they need to take in from some players. So you notice like players like Newen will do it, or Johnson will do it. Those who are really desperate to defend, and
Roberts.
it's
Yeah.
like most others need to stand up and do the same.
Mm. I think in the back line, what did you think of Andy McGrath's game today?
I think it was pretty hit and miss. There was times where he did good things, and there was times where
Yep.
he did very poor things.
Mm.
On that as well, I noticed whenever the ball comes in, it always seems like we don't have a defensive crummer. We always have too many players go up for the contest, and there always seems to be a small forward like Higgins or Liam Ryan, and they're always able to just crumb the ball. That's also something we could not stop because all of our players are going up for the contest.
Yeah, we get very obsessed. Well, I do anyway, with our lack of small forwards, and well, hopefully not now, but small defenders are just as important, aren't they?
Yeah, and I feel like they're quite. It's not spoken about enough.
No, not at all.
So yeah, like Huss did really well with crumbing in the forward line. We just kind of lack that in defence.
Yeah. Okay. So how do we fix that? Who fixes that? Is there anyone who you think can come in to help or fix that?
I think that's solely on something that needs to be trained in.
Okay.
Feels like it's something that isn't as much.
Right. Okay. Well, I don't know. Where do you put that on the priority list? My priority to-do
I'd
list
say
is...
it's quite high, but then again, like I'm someone that if I was coaching footy, I'd mostly focus on the defensive side first.
Yep.
It really depends what kind of coach you are.
Yeah, what moving the ball out of our D50 in that third quarter, I I was thinking forecasting to round one against Hawthorn and how good their rebounding defense is, and we are just so inferior in that way. Especially, as I said, that third quarter, and I could see it happening against the Hawks on the G, and was just shaking my head because they will just lock it in there, and then they've got handy players down there to capitalise.
Yeah, I also think Hawks are very different to try and beat. If you want to shut down their system, you really got to shut down their small forwards and move the ball a lot quicker. Something else that we kind of have to improve if we do want to beat them is we need our smaller forwards and medium forwards to step up. So Langford, Kako, Huss, Perkins. Mainly because Barras and Battle will destroy us if we don't.
Yeah, I thought Langford had a pretty good day today. He wasn't a very inexperienced opponent, but I thought he presented really well and looked really strong, especially when we were able to isolate him one-on-one.
No, he had a really, really good game, particularly the first half. Yeah. He went quiet for a middle patch there and then stepped up towards the end again.
Yeah.
And it's something we miss. And it's not just his goal kicking, it's that he comes up to the ball and on the half-forward line is particularly dangerous.
Yeah, okay, well, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Well, for me anyway, but the Pryor on the wing, Xavier Duursma forward. Duursma played 40% game time, so I know it's a practice match and we're just spreading the love, but for me, I've seen enough. I don't think I'm on the Pryor on a wing bandwagon. I hope we're just playing around and experimenting.
For me, he's just the next up defender, and that's not something to feel bad about. You need like those backup players for if someone goes down. I'd say, play Kondo or Johnson and have them line up on that wing. I think the main reason Brad Scott does it is because you find that we always put one of our half forwards up to the contest and therefore drop the wingman behind the ball. So we've always got a +1 behind.
Yeah.
Pryor kind of just goes off that. Like, there's times where he's in the forward line when I'm thinking, what are you doing? Because you really should be out the back, ready to stop the ball moving and lock it in.
He was inconsequential, I thought, today. It was like, I don't think he knew what to do and where to go. He was tough when he was around the ball. He laid some nice tackles, but I just don't think I think we struggled without Xavier Duursma's two-way running and wing Nous to get down into the back line and be an extra man down there.
Yeah, and Duursma as well was really good at marking and also being that crumbing defensive player, which I think is why you kind of need to play him on the wing and just rotate Clark off the half-forward line with him. Yeah,
and as you said, the Kondo I did see he was lined up on there in the last quarter, and they also started Farrow in the second quarter, I think, on the wing as well. So there was a bit of exposure happening, that's for sure. I just don't know if he's going to continue to persevere with Pryor on the wing come round one, because I don't think that's going to go down well, especially against the Hawks. How did you see Fiorini's game?
Fiorini was really good. Must play on the wing. Great leader. So, must play him.
Yeah, I agree.
Again, I don't know why we're changing our wings. If we just played the three in Clark, Fiorini, and Duursma, our wings would be perfectly fine. It's just a set and forget position at that point.
I think it's more to do with the fact that they want Duursma. I think they want his strengths at half forward because he. And
that's why I say rotate Clark and Duursma off that half forward line, because they're both damaging in their own way on that position, on each position.
And Langford, they've been rotating him a bit through the wing as well. So, I mean, there are some options there. So, I don't know. Is he in your round one team Pryor at all, defensive or otherwise?
No, he's my next man up for defense.
Okay. Yep. I get that. And I probably would agree with you there. So,
I'm prioritizing Farrow and Kondo over him at the moment.
You got both in your team?
Yeah. It's either that or I play, El Hawley if you want that speed on the wing.
Okay. So, that's another one who could take that extra back spot, couldn't he?
Yeah.
El Hawley.
I think it's kind of hard to grasp how well he plays at the moment, because you've got to remember both him and Huss are tiring quite fast because Ramadan's going on. So they're not going to be as impactful, they're lacking the energy for it.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. All right, Aiden. Well, thank you for calling in and giving me some of your thoughts. It was great to see you again. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Hopefully see you a bit more throughout the year, and we'll see how well our team goes.
Hopefully they beat the Hawks.
Honestly, that would quite sustain me for the year, I think.
Yep.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Hello, Aurora. How are you? Our forward line was way too tall. We need more smalls. Yep. I think, well, I know Isaac Kako helps with that. Hello, Joe. How are you? Shout out to Lockie Blackiston. He was very good, wasn't he? Brendan, we tackled pretty well. Yeah, I think we tackled pretty well too. Hey, G-Pad, how are you? Snap poll. Who was less likable, Ross Lyon or Sam Mitchell? Ooh. I mean, Sam Mitchell for me by so many racing straights. Team? Chat? Have you already answered this question? Have you ever thought about just making one of your plays as good as Jacob Smith? Oh, is he winning the Brownlow as well as the Rising Star Award too, Atush? No, he was very good. I was very impressed. Very impressed. We shouldn't be impressed. I know we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves in practice games, but he is going to be hard to beat. Richard, our State of Origin side was pretty poo today. Yeah. Oh, look, deep forward. I don't like it. Sunstripe, the only thing a coach has to do is inspire, unite, and make the players believe. Scott isn't a natural at this. He isn't a natural coach. He's a front office squarehead. Okay. Flip, Hawks will smash us, take that to the bank. Look, I don't think many people think it's going to be the other way around, personally, but Richo, we need Brad Scott to coach the way he played, not soft. Okay. Hello, Jess. Keep Jess on the wing. He pops up for a goal anyway. Yeah, I agree. I do think there's a huge sense of they want his strengths in the forward line as well, and he will definitely rotate through there. But yeah, curious amount of low game time today for me. Not even close at 7. Yep. TL, how are you? We really miss Kako. Yeah. I mean, Huss is good, but imagine him tag teaming. I know most of you haven't seen it because you haven't been able to get down to training, but when they've both been playing in match sim together, it's just beautiful. Hello, Andrew.
Oh, good evening.
How are you?
I'm very well. Yeah, I'm very well. Although very disappointing result. We could have done a lot. Well, was it the result was on disappointing in, or was the coaching? The question would be how they were coaching positions and how many the minutes per player on the ground. Perkins coming on for a corner and a bit. Was that too late? Sada Hooley getting a run in the last quarter. Really, when we were getting belted around the ground in the third quarter, why didn't they bring him on earlier to try and stem the slide in that the defence? Why wasn't May on the ground when it was obvious that Wright can't mark over his head, he can only mark on his chest, and we will bring the board down. They controlled Caddy. Wright wasn't an influence. There was no third option. I'm not sure if Langford went off. The midfield got experienced midfield, which is supposed to be A class, against St Kilda's midfield, who are an inferior lot in the sense of they're not top shelf. We got beaten badly, I thought. What came out of that game, Blackiston was very good, exceptionally good, but he tired and needs help. Now, what do we do? So to me, May has to play and Wright has to be the relief ruckman, or May needs to be the relief ruckman, because he can't see out where there's two ruckmen in the opposition side going him all day. Yeah, he's not going to last. He's going to, you could see it.
He did, yeah. He tired.
Yeah, tired. So there's some there's a lot of questions, but overall, I'm very happy with the performance. I think Newen is definitely, even though the St Kilda forward kicked a couple of goals, but they were cheap. They were cheap goals. You know, a lot of them. You know, they got a lot of 50, iffy. I'm not going to blame the umpires because obviously the decision's made and that's how it's going to be. But our defensive minds, look, what we haven't got, and which I wrote down, we haven't got a point guard. Someone in the basketball term, I'm not sure if I got the right term, someone who sets things up in the back line. There's nobody in that back line. Now, McGrath's supposed to be the captain, supposed to be the, you know, and he talks the talk. But when the pressure, someone needs to control that back line in position when they fall out of position and not manning up or not attacking the ball as they should. You know, someone needs to take control of that. I'm not sure what you think in that respect. You know, like when they brought the ball out, kicking it out short, and why we in for the training we had over summer, and I brought this up before. We were focusing on the boundary line, bring the ball out on the boundary lines a lot, and we did that again today.
Yeah,
we should go. You know, like we've got good Reed, and is a very good kick. You know, he had a very quiet game. You know, like I'm not sure how many minutes he was on the game.
He played most minutes. I thought he was very good. I thought he had some great moments.
Well, I thought he could have done more. That's watching from my end of the TV spectrum. I think that because I think he doesn't attack. Like the backmen need to attack the ball, get the ball and attack and bring the ball quickly. We don't move the ball quickly enough. You know, in our training over summer, we were moving. You know, they were practicing moving the ball quickly, transitioning very quickly. They did that on occasions today, which I thought was very good. You know. But in general terms, they got that third quarter. I think everything broke. Everything broke down, didn't it? You know.
Yeah.
But
there was very different heat coming at us today than there was all preseason and last week against Tigers too. The defensive heat was definitely at a higher level, much higher level, and that's their shtick. You know, Saints they flood and they suffocate you, so forcing you into quick decisions.
But that was good to see. It was good to see that we're under that pressure because that's top football. Yeah, good practice. So we can see where we need to improve. Yeah, we need to improve. And then you're right with Dersma. He's not a half forward flanker. You know, like seriously. You know, I thought myself, and you know, like he's definitely, and I don't think Pryor to me is a winger. You know, and then Roberts' disposal. And also Furini's disposals in the first half were poor, very poor. But they improved. Furini played a lot better second half than the first half. I thought he got right into it, and he was very productive. Yeah. What else? Yeah, and I think my mate Newen, I thought again. I go back to him. I thought even though, you know, and he didn't get in the best. They didn't, you know, the AFL website didn't have him in the best, which I was surprised. I thought,
who did they have in the best for us?
Oh, I haven't got it up. I'll have to bring it up. Let me see.
This is
sorry.
Live. No, I don't even know where it is on the. I'm so used to looking at it on my phone.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. Anyway, it wasn't. It definitely wasn't there. There we go. We go down here. Best for Essendon was Roberts, Blackerson, Johnson, Langford, and Furini. Now Roberts.
Pretty accurate. That's accurate. I think Roberts, outside of some of his disposal, not all, but some of his disposal, and I think his turnovers are accentuated because they're generally in pretty important parts of the ground. But I think he was the one. He was the only midfielder who was trying to do something with the ball, trying to cut an angle, trying to bring it into the corridor, trying to make something happen and be creative. And his pressure and intent was at a high level as well. I thought he was the premier midfielder that we had today, and he played and started a half forward line as well.
Well, I thought he just had to be careful with his tackling. He gave a few free kicks away, very aggressive, which is good, which I like to see. I like to see the aggression. but he has to learn not to give those free kicks away, because even though he went, as you said, he showed a class that he'll only get better.
Yeah.
But some of the free kicks he gave away were very costly, put that way,
Yes.
when we had the run on. So he has to tighten that up.
Yep.
But the others, those 4 players, Langford, especially first half. Not sure the second half he was as dominant.
What did you make of the midfield group being so down? Is it just a bad day? Did they just get outclassed? Did they not work as hard? What do you put that down to, Andrew?
I think the whole well, not just about our class. I don't think they worked hard enough for each other.
Yep.
And they're still learning how Blakiston rucks. I don't think they're reading as well as they should. I think they can, when the ball comes down, like where they're positioning for him, or where they're positioning for the opposition ruckman as well, because like they weren't clearing the ball out of the midfield. So not working hard enough, not reading the play well enough. But then again, this is what we say about every year, the same sort of issues with Caldwell's will go the next level. The other midfielders will go the next level. Dersma will go. Derham will go the next level. He had a shock. Derham had a shocking game. A terrible game. I don't know what. Maybe we shouldn't be signing people up on long-term contracts. Every time we sign people on long-term contracts, it happened to Redmond, and Redmond had an average game. He didn't have a disastrous game, but when he signed that long-term contract, he had a whole year on vacation. And,
on vacation,
he disappeared.
It's true. It's true.
And he's back on track now.
Contract curse.
Yeah, well, maybe but you hope these guys was just a one-off, because we really need them next week to take it off. It's only a practice match. I presume the coaches will learn things from it.
Yeah.
The scoreline, I think, could have been a lot closer if a few things went our way. Like a lot of 50-metre penalties, which was which were some iffy, especially in the first half. But St Kilda were the better side. They played a lot cleaner football than we did. And, of course, they got the best football in the league at the moment. Wanganeen, Miller, he's just, and he could have been our player. We could have picked him up.
Oh, don't tell me that. Don't.
We could have. If someone correct me if I'm wrong, I think St Kilda picked him up before we did in the draft, and we didn't go up. We didn't. I'm not sure if we could trade up in those days, but they had a pick higher than one pick before us, and they picked him up. And I think he could have been if we,
It's certainly looking like a very, very good decision by him to stay at the Saints. Especially if they've got it worked out, if everything's going to click for Saints this year with their new recruits. Yeah.
Their two ruckmen are going to be good too. I think they're combining well. The two big guys. And Wilkie got injured, which would have he went off early with an ankle. That's their St Kilda centre half back. He went off.
Yep.
So that helped us a bit. But Caddy.
Yeah, I imagine, I completely forgot that Cal Wilkie didn't play pretty much the entire game. So
yeah. And I think Caddy still runs under the ball a bit, or not. Or the ball. Look, the ball wasn't delivered really, as you pointed out, and the other speakers pointed out. The ball delivery into our forward line is shot. It has not. It's where it has been.
But one thing I will say, right? So because St Kilda flooded numbers back, the midfielders and the half-backs are trying to find a pocket of space to deliver into, and their first look is like, well, there's not. It's just congestion. There's 45 St Kilda players down there, so by the time they're about to get swamped by pressure or a tackle, they'll just bomb it into the forward 50. So
why haven't we picked up on that and say, well, who are our best long? Why isn't Redmond coming down the ground trying to kick a goal? Why haven't we got some players who can kick 60 metres and kick goals from the half forward flank, or between half forward and forward, running in and having a go. If it means
maybe the ball just wasn't moved fast enough from the back line.
Yep.
And it just gave, which is something we've been doing really well in the preseason.
Yep.
Ending up kicking to an even contest, even numbers. But today, St Kilda are just so effective at moving quickly and flooding quickly. We just couldn't move the ball. But that's their whole thing. They slow your ball movement up.
Yeah, that's their big strength, St Kilda, and that's Ross Lyon's mantra. He's very defensive mindset, and now they move the ball quickly out. They break the lines and they move it, and off they go. And they keep the opposition down to try to keep them to a low score when things are going right for them. But that's nothing new. That shouldn't be anything new to our coaching team.
No.
Okay,
but I think the plan was there. Sometimes we just don't have I think I'd like to think that our coaching group are smarter than all of us behind a keyboard and have a planning for that. Yep. I just don't know that the players had the skill level to move the ball effectively and efficiently. We turned it over. That's not system, that's skill level in the third quarter. Anyway.
Yeah, well, I think Johnson's skill levels are very high. I think he's just shown what a class player he is. Most of the game, he'll get fitter. And I think he'll cement himself in the side. And I think that it's not – and where you say we'll finish 14th, I'm still confident we'll do a little bit better than that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still confident. Look, today was a disappointment in the sense of how the game ran out and how we just petered away a bit.
Yep.
But I think – is that a better way – rather than winning by 10 and 15 goals and everybody, like the Carlton supporters are going off, lining up at the MCG for their grand final tickets and all the rest of it.
Very true.
Yeah, and they'll get a rude awakening pretty quickly. Although that recruit they got who did his knee, Jagger Smith. Well, he's always been a class. He's a very classy player, and I think and they picked up a couple of good recruits too. So, but I still don't think they're grand final. They're definitely nowhere near top four. And but I reckon. We'll improve. We've got a few players to come back in. Kako's going to make a big difference to that forward line if he comes in with that speed and creativity. That creativity. Not sure about Perkins. I don't think as you pointed out, should he have played in a full game in the reserves or at the VFL tomorrow?
Yeah.
Or should he come on in the last quarter and play a full game in the reserves? And maybe brought some other I didn't like the way they played May, Perkins, and Sada Hooley.
That would have been pretty deliberate. That would have been pretty deliberate, though. Yeah. So the idea, I believe, from what I understand, was to play 25 players, have 25 players in rotation, as close to the number that we're actually going to have in 23 for the majority of the game, and then manage. I think I'm pretty sure I didn't really see Parrish much in the last quarter, and Langford, so maybe they managed their minutes a bit in the last, and they just brought those three on. But I mean, you got to do things like that. That's when you experiment, I think, in practice matches. So I'm going to not try to read too much into that.
Okay. Well, look, a good thing which came out of the game, we did not get any injuries.
Yes.
That's a big tick. A very big tick. No hamstrings, no calves. No
obvious ones.
None of that.
Yep.
So we've got a full list the list will be, it'll be interesting how they go into the Hawthorn game, which they got beaten fairly badly yesterday against the Doggies. So I'm not sure what the score was at the end, but Footscray took care of them yesterday.
What did you think? Do you think there's anything to worry about with the Sam Durham tackle?
No, that was very low. I don't think so, because it was very low to the ground when he did, and it was an iffy. It wasn't a sling tackle. It was probably a little bit careless.
It was just driving the head into the ground.
Yeah, but the other guy, Newcomb from Hawthorn, definitely one arm. That's a sling tackle. Now, if he gets off and Durham gets suspended, can we get a backbone at Essendon? Really take it on.
Don't worry. I think if that happens, don't you worry. There'll be some.
It'd be interesting to see if he does get cited. I don't think he will. Well, I hope
Okay.
not. But then
I didn't see a replay of it, so they didn't make much of it on the forecast.
No,
on the
it was
broadcast,
just
so, okay.
it was low, and it was turn him a little bit, but
Yep.
it was really
Okay.
So depending on the interpretation, how they deem it,
Yep.
But,
Okay. Well, hopefully our luck. I'm always erring on the side of they just like to fuck with us, the AFL. So, but anyway.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think we learned quite a bit. I think you make a good point, Andrew. I think you know we're going to learn more from this kind of game than from winning it by. We'll learn more from this week than we do last week. Put it that way.
For sure.
In our win last week. So, practice game. We know where we're at. I think the whole club is self-aware, and the fans should be too. I think I know there's hope that we might finish a bit better, potentially 10th. But I think we've got a lot of young kids integrating into this team. So it was always going to be a bit tricky. Andrew, thank you so much for jumping on.
No problems.
Love your work, Andrew. I'll talk to you soon. See you later.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
I think people are reading too much into a practice game. He was moving players to different positions to see our young'uns play. No way Merritt plays deep forward or don't tag Naz in a real game. Yep. They did play loosely off Naz, but I just assumed that was because he's so good. He was getting loose. I was watching Caldwell on him, and he was not worried about Caldwell whatsoever. And Caldwell wasn't really paying him much attention too. He was just playing his game. So perhaps you're right. Daniel, Dursma came off for Perkins at halftime. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 42% or something for Dursma game time. Matthew, I like May might be our centre half forward. Yeah, I think, look, if the forward structure of Wright, Caddy, and Langford is not working halfway through the year, I reckon they might look at May. But my gut says he's not going to play round one. Just a gut. Jez, how are you, Jez? Reed was schmick. Yep, I thought he had a good game. He left a couple of marks out there, but I think he was very good. Yeah, that's exactly right, Dave. His positioning set up a few goals too. Yeah, agree. Chris, how are you doing? Kondo was unreal. Yeah, he shows a bit, doesn't he? They still messed with it. Tiny grounds and chain handballs. Yeah, we did. We ran ourselves into some trouble more times than not. Jaden was top notch for his total duration at the top level. Yeah. Look, I think his distribution is not where he shines. It's his aggressiveness. And look, he did have moments on Higgins and Liam Ryan to varying degrees of success, but generally I think just in terms of our matchup, I think he has to play. Troy, keep playing our youth. They will only get better. Agree. Thank you, Paul. Those were the bests. Anyone else? Do you think anybody else should have made this list in terms of the Essendon bests? I think that's pretty good, personally. Could arguably, I mean, Caddy had good moments. Huss had good moments. But probably overall, I reckon that probably nails it. I think so. TL, I think Sage traded up for him and Dodoro celebrated because it means Ben Hobbs was sliding to us. Somebody please confirm that, because I'm about to do the biggest eye roll. No disrespect, of course, but man, hindsight is great though, of course. We all know that. Smokey, contract shouldn't be more than 3 to 4 years. Look, I'm gonna give Durham an out for one game. But if he's not firing against the Hawks, I'm going to read something into this contract curse. That's a Ross Lyon trait, yeah. I did too, Troy. He's really no fuss, no muss, no mustard, no mayo, just blah, straight. He is straight to the point, and I like it. I like it. And I just like the idea of hearing from a coach who's fresh out of the game, fresh perspectives. That would be a very impressive living room if it's not just a green screen. I would imagine James Hurd's living room. Oh, no, I can confirm that was a green screen, so don't worry about that. You're on the fence for warm-up round one. I'll put a curse on Mitchell. I'll look right. Yeah. Lou. He might be in trouble, Durham and Newcombe also. Oh, can anybody who's watched the Durham tackle more than once confirm whether it was reportable or if he's going to be even cited. I hope not. He didn't hit his head into the ground. Okay. Moby just got back. You went to the game? Oh, how good. The senior guys were just going through the motions after halftime. Structure was shite. And Timmy is still down the well. I don't get it. What am I missing? I'm not very quick with these jokes. Who's Timmy? Am I having a moment here? How's Ballarat? How's the stadium? Is it good to watch footy from? They tried to give Durham a life sentence on that suspension last year, so who knows? Yes. Oh, my gosh, how can we forget? You're right, Noel. He did. Just joined. Mabel play reserves tomorrow. Oh, will he? Is that confirmed, Sonia? Don't know. Will they play some of the guys? Will they back it up? No, surely not. Surely they just go out there and do some running, right? Surely. Ken said it on commentary, keep playing the youth we have, only way we can reach your levels. Yeah, that's what I mean about I think we're pretty self-aware of where we're at. What your thoughts on Zach Merritt game? Yeah, I did not enjoy it one bit at all. But if Moby's right in terms of them just going through the motions, he could maybe fit into that mold. He's professional enough and has been in this game enough to know that a practice match is not where you go in fifth gear, really. Is Reid having trouble marking in his hand? I only seen chest marks. No, not at training, Stephen. No. You think they're both in trouble? Oh, okay. Interesting. Hinkley was great and the only commentator talking about our players' efforts. Yes, good point, Aurora. And that's significant because a lot of games we were uncompetitive last year. So, okay, you think does this fine, even had an arm under his head. Okay. Don't stress people. We're on the path. Yeah, of course. But this is where we are allowed to stress a little bit if you like. Open forum. So come on, stress, talk about it, and we can cope together. There is the link. Join. Hello, Noel.
Hello.
How are you?
Maybe.
Beautiful set of chompers there.
I got my chompers in it finally. I think it's the first time you've seen me with my chompers.
Is it? What
Yeah, I think so.
Last time? Did you have them?
No. I had them during AFLW, so maybe. But anyway.
And you've had
how are you?
Haircut? You've had a haircut?
Yeah, had the hair chopped, had a bit of a shave. I've been stand-up comedy guru for a while. That's why I haven't been around.
Okay.
Had a couple of residencies, which was nice. You know, regular shows on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So yeah, been building up a little bit.
Yep.
But yeah, everyone's been bagging out the coach on a practice match. I just thought that was a bit weird.
I love you, Noel. You just say it how it is. You're right. There has been a lot of not negativity because you can bring in, you can be as negative as you like. Absolutely. But yeah, there has been a lot of in a practice match.
It's a practice match, guys. That's just, yeah. Now, wait till round 6. You know,
Okay.
the new rule: 50-metre penalty only to Essendon, only against Essendon. Apparently, 7. They scored their entire first. There were 7 50-metre penalties. We got 1 in the last quarter. There was in the first quarter, the Saints' entire score resulted from free kicks. Their entire score.
The caddy one was ridiculous.
Yeah. They had 3 goals from 50-metre penalties or from a soft, dodgy free kick.
Yeah.
But I must say the rule of the ball going out of bounds didn't seem to have any issue. I thought that worked pretty well. Yeah,
agreed. And the players knew what they were doing, which is.
I can see them trying not to bring the ball out. You can see it quite often. We'll get penalised for it though. We'll be the first team that will get a goal kicked against us for that in an AFL match. Yeah, you put that in the bank.
Okay.
And by the way, these people who think that Hawthorn got the game in the bank, they said that Donald Trump wasn't going to be president either. Put that in the bank, they said. Well, it's happened twice, so you never know. Life can be changed. We can beat Hawthorn.
You just gave me whiplash there, Noel. We went from football to politics. Okay, sure.
Yeah, no. Look, I wasn't that impressed with what I saw of Hawthorn. They looked okay. The practice match.
was a bit there.
I think the Bulldogs were a much better side by quite a long chalk.
Yeah, definitely.
But look, there was a lot to like today. There was a lot to dislike, but there was a lot to like. I thought Newman was terrific on the back line. No one's talked about Dyson Sharp, but he looked very, very good.
Yes, how can I forget my guy? He was very good.
He had some nice. There's some nice bits there. He worked hard to get the ball out. He seems to be quite skillful, so we'll take that out of his game within 12 months. We train anyone who's got any decent ability to kick the footy. We get rid of that within 12 months, so that'll be fine. But no, the Condor man did some nice things.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Blackiston in the ruck was working against. It was working against him a bit. The amount of free kicks he was giving away was just due to a more experienced player. But he did some nice things around the ground, kicked the ball well. Just the forward line just doesn't function properly. I don't know what the issue is there. Were we too tall, do you think?
No, I think there was too much congestion. All I see, and I know the Saints flooded a lot of players and got a lot of numbers down there, but I don't know how you deliver inside a forward line that is so congested and hit a target.
Yeah, you see Langford taking a couple of marks. He had two blokes behind him, and the same with Peter Wright. And there was always at least two or three blokes jumping up against them. So I like Ash Carr. I was on the fence about him.
Were you?
Yeah. Have you seen the documentary on the ABC?
I haven't watched it yet.
It's very good. Him and Swade. Swade. So really, the mums are an absolute hoot. Just to watch the two mums, because the mums were more into the footy than their dads. You get a real a sense of the Muslim family values as well. It's a really, really good documentary.
So why were you questioning? Why weren't you big on Huss? Before? Yeah,
well, what I saw of him is, he's one of those blokes who'll get two or three kicks and get a couple of goals and done my job. But then I saw him in the game against Richmond. I thought he was pretty good, and he was good today. So there's some talent there. I'm on the fence about Roby as well.
Oh, I don't know if you can say that in this forum.
Yeah, well, I don't
know. You can say
he was already injured, so that's almost laid down as he's going to be injured all the time every time we play, because they can't get him on the field already. It's a bad sign for me. I think Sharp's a much better option. I think Sharp was the best of the ones we picked up, and he looks pretty good. But then again, who knows? But yeah, I thought there was some good signs. We need Brian or Vigo in the ruck to help us out, because I think I always said you're taking Peter Wright out of the forward line. It takes something away from us.
Interesting. So you would play Brian, Blackiston, and 2 metre Peter.
Yeah, but you've got an extra interchange now, so you can take your ruckman off. Yeah. And you can rotate him. Blackiston can drop into the defence, which he's already done, so he already knows a bit about that. So that's an option. Mm-hmm. And we've got tall blokes. How do you fit McMahon into that side? How are you fitting May, McMahon, Edwards? We've got a lot of tall forwards there. So I can see why you play Peter Wright as a second ruckman, because you want to be able to play these other bigger guys. But I think once Brian comes back, or if Vigo I think Vigo's probably another year away from being a regular player. You've still got a bit to work on, but that's fine. But there's some talent there. So let's not bag the coach out just yet. He's had to clean up the Doro duds that he had. We had an injury run last year that no coach, no matter how good they were, Lee Matthews or the coach of Brisbane could have dealt with. So let's give Brad Scott this year and see how he's got that. He's playing young kids. Let's give the kids a game. Let's see how it goes. I think our kids played well today. I think our older blokes went through the motions, did just enough. They know they're going to get a game this opening round. Where was Dersma, Durham? They all disappeared at various stages. Merritt playing in the back pocket. Yeah.
Front pocket.
They played in the back line in the last quarter and turned it over 3 times.
Yeah.
Parish usual kicks the ball to nobody. I got a ton of them. And
it's just very strange from the midfield, like for all of them to be below. And I watched Caldwell at centre bounces and at stoppage, and he was the only one. He was ping-ponging. He was following the ball that was ping-ponging off 3 St Kilda midfielders before they got it out. He was the only one defensively. Why is it all up to him to do?
Yeah, there's just that's why it's sharp when he got the ball. He used it well. He did some good things with it.
Well, he used it really well on the outside. He wasn't even up around the ball much.
No,
he's just such a pure. He's a pure footballer. Instinctively
even in the commentary, they were saying how he got the ball and he ran through to another space and he was ready to receive again.
Exactly.
This is a kid who's hasn't even played a senior game yet, and he's already learnt the nuances, and they're the important things to be the next target up. I'm going to move on to the next bit. I'm going to be ready for the next opportunity, and even if it doesn't come my way. We tackle well. Robert said about 6 or 8 tackles, something like 6 or 8 tackles. I was looking at the tackle count. Even Blackston had 6 tackles.
He did. Yeah, that's why I think that the effort and the competitiveness was there. I just don't think we absorbed St Kilda's pressure and the way, which is concerning because the best teams are going to do that to you.
Yeah. Everyone talks about Wenger and Mellor, but Windhagen.
Yeah, he was very
Did they ignore the 41 possessions he had? Most of them quality.
He was
absolutely.
He's which is, I mean, they might be the real thing, St Kilda. They got some class. They got some class on every line. But
they showed some signs last year, didn't they? A little bit towards the end of the year, they started to show a little bit. Yeah, and I think it takes a while for Ross Lyon's game plan to come into their heads and for them to work through it and to come together like that. So,
how long has Ross Lyon been at the Saints? Do you know? Noel? Can somebody tell me in the chat how many years?
It's his third year. I think it's his third year there.
No, he can't have been. This is Brad Scott's 4th year, so he can't have been there longer than. No, because we were going to get potentially Ross Lyon as coach.
Yeah, he's the same amount of time as Brad Scott, but he wasn't. Yeah.
Okay, so 4 years. So they both came in.
So 3 or 4 years. Yeah. But
they haven't turned over 33 players. That's the difference.
No, and they haven't had to get rid of a whole bunch of dunderheads that were selected, 5 years ago. So let's give Brad Scott a bit of a
look. Okay, let's play devil's advocate. So a lot of the players were down today, but what aside from the forward, the dysfunction in the forward line, what about the system do you want to see improved before we play Hawks?
Well, Mackay's stats were minus. His points were -6 at half time. He had not touched the footy.
I don't care about that. I don't care about that.
He didn't touch the footy either.
Correct. That's exactly my point. I was looking at his stat sheet and I texted a friend and I said, Mackay hasn't touched the ball, and that's before the commentary picked it up and said it, mind you. I can timestamp that for anybody who wants to track that. But I said that, and I thought you just wait for supporters to come out and say that he's having a crappy game, but his opponent hadn't touched it either.
Yeah. So I think we need to get connections, the big thing. I think you talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
Connections, the big thing. We need to connect the midfield, the back line, and midfield to the forward line. There was a couple of occasions where people were jumping up against each other. Happening in the Richmond game too, there was players jumping ahead. May should be in that forward line.
You want May to play?
I'd like to see May in that forward line because he's a presence anyway, if nothing else. Break a few tacks, just get him to run through a few packs and do a Dermot Burton type style, bust him up a bit, get him thinking about it. And then you've got your Kako and Huss running around picking up the crumbs off the pack. Then we start getting a little bit of connection. That's what we need. We're lacking that little bit in the forward line. They haven't quite worked out where they're positioned And you also got to think that Langford didn't play much last year, so they've got to work out the positioning for him, and they haven't played together much. So there's a little bit of flow. I think the back line's okay, and I think our midfield's okay. The forward line just needs to just work out where you're running to. Guelphy can't get into that side. I think Guelphy plays against Hawthorn because they need that defensive. He plays that defensive forward role pretty well. So depending on how he goes in the VFL game, I think it's likely that they might play Guelphy because they need that something different in the forward line. I don't know. Maybe they won't. Maybe he's out of favour. He didn't do a lot in the Richmond game.
When they didn't get picked today, I think that's a pretty good indication. Or maybe mind games. I would love if it was mind games. Put aside what you think about Guelphy, but if that's mind games, I'm here for that in a practice match if that's what Brad Scott's doing. But
and maybe it's a wake up call too for him to say, well, pull your finger out, get yourself organised.
Great point.
And I mean, would you have him ahead of Perkins? They're about the same value at the moment, aren't they?
Well, Perkins, in my eyes, is not ready aerobically and match fit. I don't think there's a way. I will be shocked if he plays round one. Shocked from what I've seen at training. That's just me.
Yeah, but then he played well in that opening game against Hawthorn last year, and that might play into their heads as well, Then he played well in that. The only decent game he played last year was against the Hawks in the opening round.
Yeah, you're right. That's true.
That might play into the
Ridley playing wouldn't have shot I could see the pattern. I could see the setup in terms of them getting Ridley right to play because he was training he was running right when preseason started, but Perkins wasn't. He was barely shuffling in December. So I don't know how he would be match fit, but interesting.
Yeah, but going if they're both match fit, who do you pick, Perkins or Guelphy?
Oh no! My head says one thing and my heart says the other thing. For Hawthorn, I think. Pardon me. I think Hawthorn, Guelphy.
Yeah, I mean, so there's some value there, and he's fit at the moment, so he's a better option than Perkins at the moment.
Chat, what do you think? Good question, Noel. Perkins or Guelphy, round one against Hawks. Who are you picking?
Because
go.
I think he can play, but of course it all comes down to whether Caco's available as well. Because then you've got another small forward there.
Has to play, Noel. Has to.
Huss is playing, isn't he? Surely Huss is playing.
Definitely. But Caco just.
Could you imagine the damage those two can do if they get it together?
But this is the thing, this is the key. I've been banging on about small forwards for 10 years. I can't believe we're just coming to the party in the last handful of years.
But we tried. We had Davey, we had Tip and Woody. We've had a few of that type, So
yeah, true. That's true.
Yeah, well, we've tried different ones. I mean, they thought Oscar Smart was going to be that role too, and there's been a few, but a little bit of dash and flash is what you want. But what won me over about El Haka is watching that documentary. The kid wants to play. He wants to be good. He trains outside of the team as well. His brothers have a gym.
Hard. He works very hard.
Yeah, so he wants to be good, and there's also that whole element of disappointing God and disappointing their religion and the whole thing. So there's all that motivation as well, which is what won me over when I watched the documentary. I wish we got swayed as well, but I don't know if they fit both of them in the side. There was mention of a couple of other things, but as far as the world's going, how's the rest of the world treated you? How do you feel about off season? How do you cope with off season?
How do I see the team? How have I seen the team in the off season?
No, just you yourself. How do you cope with no football?
Look, I am pretty footy centric, and friends will tell me off about this. They tell me I need a hobby outside of football to keep me occupied in the off season. But honestly, I'm the kind of person, when I love something, I love wholeheartedly and fully. And so football has my entire heart. I did enjoy the tennis. I do like the tennis outside of football season. So I was a little bit uninspired with the quality of tennis though this year. I don't know if any tennis fans watching or if you are, Noel.
Did you watch the Winter Olympics at all?
No.
See, I don't mind. I don't mind the snowboarding and some of that stuff. Pretty good. All those jumps, and you go, how the hell you do that? You know, I'm not going to do that. You know, I have enough trouble walking down the stairs. Yeah. We had the Winter Olympics to sort of get ourselves through. But I kind of liked the commentary as well. I thought they were encouraging, unusual for the football commentary to. But they had to mention Dacos. Yeah, his name had to come up, of course. Yeah,
I think the competition is generally. Or where do you have us finishing? Actually, Noel, before I say that.
Well, now we've got a final 10. I reckon I'd like to see us make the final 10, just for a joke, just for a laugh.
Okay, but where do you think we're going to finish?
I think we'll finish middle table, midway between say 12th and 14th, something like that, maybe. Okay. You know, if we get 12th, that'd be a pretty good season, I think, for what we have.
Yeah, I agree. So what's that? 10 wins? Does 10 wins get you that?
Yeah, I'd say so. Look,
11.
From what we saw today, I think, you know, bigger effort from the more experienced players will be, that's going to come up. So we'll be reasonably competitive. You've got young kids, they get tired. We saw that in the last quarter. You know, they started to get a bit tired. Plus, there's no motivation in a practice match. Once the opposition's got about 4 or 5 goals in front, there's no real no motivation to kick your ass and really bust your buns. And even Hinkley was saying, just call the game off after 10 minutes in the last quarter, because what's the point? There's no real reason. You don't want your players getting injured in the last 2 or 3 minutes of a practice game that doesn't have. They're not playing for sheep stations. It's not important. The little Timmy in the well thing, by the way, is it's a saying.
Okay.
About people, the failed rescue of there's some story about little Timmy fell down the well, and there's about 19 different ways they try to get him out of the well, and he keeps falling down again. So it's something like that.
Okay.
Just to clear that up for you.
Thundercats, Adams, how are you? I was at the game today. We're getting better and primed to take a small but big step. Perkins not playing round one. Him, Sard and May did running drills post-match. Today was as much for minutes as performance. Yeah. Well, I think Adams, I think you win the comment of the fan cams today so far, unless anybody else wants to hit that mark. But I think this is it. I think this is about it. I felt, even though we never were winning at any point, I don't think we're in front at any point, or were we? Maybe. But anyway, by halftime,
where's that VFL practice match at?
At the hangar tomorrow, 11 a.m. If anybody is interested in getting down.
I heard it was at Port Melbourne.
No, at the hangar tomorrow. Don't think the weather is looking particularly good. But this, as I said, Perkins, Sard and May, 100% would have finished their training today, so they won't be playing any VFL tomorrow. It'll just be a watch on Sardis, Guelphy, Archerday Wicks, McMahon, Vigo, who will play full minutes tomorrow. So what else did you see, Adams? What else did you see at the game? What looked really bad? Anything you saw at the game that a lot of us who watched on TV wouldn't have seen? I would have gone to the game, but I didn't get off my butt quick enough, because I've got relatives who live in Ballarat, so I could have just stayed at their house. It would have been easy. But it didn't look good on Friday, did it? No, it didn't at all. TL, I play Clark as a defensive forward instead of either Guelphy or Perkins. Play the kids and don't accept mediocrity. It's the only way to improve. Yeah. This is in regards to the question, Noel, about Guelphy or Perkins.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind it. I don't think Clark was overly, impressive today. But again, as Adams has
But,
reminded us.
he was already in the side. We're talking about taking somebody out of the team and putting somebody else in. Clark was already in.
No, but this was there was 28 today. It was a team of 28. So, you know, 5 have to go anyway.
And we still couldn't find a loose man. 28.
It was, okay. Gotcha. Well done. Lovely. Josh, to be honest, I really hope we can get Zach Bailey instead of Guelph. Wow, that would be an incredible upgrade. I know we're in our upgrade era, and I am all for the upgrade era, but hey, I would welcome that.
Was Gresham unlucky? Was Gresham unlucky? Because he played pretty well. Was he unlucky?
Are we speaking about the same
Where's it leave him now as an experienced player? You would have thought, against your old team, they would have put you in. Yeah.
No, he's not unlucky. Not unlucky.
Yeah.
In my opinion, anyway.
I think his chances might be. Yeah.
Yeah.
His chances of getting a senior game is going to be due to injuries, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's going to be
I think that's part of this upgrade era. Guelphy and Gresham are only really playing if there are injuries. You still need depth on your list. You really still do need depth, but
and I think that's the important thing that we haven't seen from Brad Scott before. Is he tended to play his favourites and tended to play the same faces every week.
Who do you think are his favourites? Because everyone I speak to has a different answer to this. Who do you? All right, chat. Another question for you, and Noel. Who do you think of Brad Scott's favourite? Because if I personally don't think he has an obvious one. I know people have said Perkins, but maybe I'm missing something. I haven't noticed it all that much.
Well, it was the issue. A lot of North Melbourne people said that he never played the young blokes. You always play the same faces. Goldstein was getting a game when perhaps you probably shouldn't have got a game early on and then had to play him afterwards. So you can't really judge it on last year because he had to play players. But, I mean, we had I think McMahon or McMahon's going to be the next Voss. Never going to get a game. He'll kick thousands of goals in the VFL and they'll never play him.
He's going to
be the Voss.
He is going to win the most goals and the highest goal scorer for the VFL next year.
And he won't get a game. They won't play him no matter how badly our forward line's going. He's going to be the one the Essendon supporters are going to be frustrated about. Why aren't you playing McMahon? But where do you fit him? You can't fit him. Jones, Edwards, Wright, Caddy, May. There's a lot of big forwards there. How does he fit into the side? It really is going to be an interesting battle. When it comes down to it,
I think, Pryor, I do think he likes. Yeah, good shout. Well done. Yeah. Yes, I agree with you, but I don't know. It's not super ridiculously obvious to me. Maybe I'll change my tune if Pryor plays on the wing round 1. Maybe I'll change my tune on that. But
he's a reasonably good kick. And he's not a bad mark, but has he got enough pace to be a wingman? I think that's the weak link there. But where does he fit now? Because we've got a pretty the Condo man looks pretty good as a backman. It looks like they've got a couple of other guys that can play that role in defence. So when you're a one-dimensional player, which I think he's a bit of a one-dimensional player. He's not going to be a forward. He's not going to be a midfielder, is he? He's really only a defender. Then you are stuck a bit as to where you put him. He's not going to slot him in the back pocket because that's McGrath's role down there. So, that's the problem with blokes like Pryor and probably even blokes like Gresham. They're one-dimensional players who can only play in.
Is why they're trying to see if he's got an extra string to his bow, and until he lines up for 15 consecutive games, I'm choosing to believe that all they're doing is testing him out to see what he's got, because that's what you do in the off-season and in training. Until I see otherwise. All right, Adams, I don't rate myself as the best
tried as a midfielder.
Re-game analysis, but I feel like there were heaps of contests around the ground where we acquitted ourselves well. We had good, consistent ball movement at times. Okay, good.
We certainly did. It was
Sorry,
scrappy.
I interrupted you. What did you say, Noel?
Right. Yeah, it was scrappy, but there was a lot of good contested situations. I was just saying they experimented with Redmond last year in the midfield, didn't they?
They did too. Oh my God, yeah, they did. He played. He attended centre bounces. Yeah, he did. You're right.
So you've got to try it. I mean, Sheedy was known for doing that. I mean, playing players, multiple positions. Again, we'll throw Kevin Walks down to centre half forward for a bit, or put Duckworth in the forward line. He switched down to the back line, whatever. That's always been part of it. And I think a lot of other coaches have tried to think this is some way of doing it, but I don't think modern players can do that now. I think we're down to you either, like I've said, in the old days, the old football in the 80s, you had 4 or 5 blokes who were really good skills, and they were the blokes you relied on. You had a couple of thugs that were there for the hard, tough stuff, and then you had some blokes who could do bits of everything, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and that's made up for the team. Nowadays, they're all athletes. They all run a 10-second mile and all that sort of stuff. There's no footballers much. There's not many footballers left. They're all athletes now.
I will say that, TL, I do agree with you. If we are comparing 100% to last year, I'm not sure I saw a backwards kick today, or if there was one, maybe I missed it. Because this time last year, even though we beat Geelong ridiculously in a preseason match, we were still kicking the ball backwards a lot. And we know that was what we did all year last year. We played uncontested football last year, stagnant, uncontested brand of footy. And we have not seen that. It's been 2 practice matches, granted, but so far it's a step in the right direction in my eyes. So
old habits die hard.
They were very confusing, and we have covered that, but just ridiculous.
Old habits die hard about kicking sideways, but we had 1 or 2. But
I didn't like it, Luke. Yeah, good point. I didn't like the playing for free kicks. It crept into some games last year, and it happened again today.
But it was there. The free kick was there.
Was it?
Especially in the last quarter. Well, considering you put a fingernail on a St Kilda bloke and they got a free kick for in the back, some of our blokes were being ridden into the ground as if they were burying him in the cemetery, and they wouldn't get a free kick. So he probably shouldn't have talked about it, but it was there.
If it was there, it's there. But putting mayo and accentuating and
exactly.
like gesturing, like, what are you showing Dyson Sharp in that moment, who was standing 5 meters away? Like, just play the ball. Don't worry about the umpire. 2 Meter Peter gets 15 free kicks a minute missed on him. Like, just don't let that shit creep into your game, because young players are impressionable. I hope this is right on. I don't know about Caldwell. My gut tells me, I know he's got heavy strapping on the leg, but my gut tells me there is no way they are risking him and playing him at training and involving him in everything at training if there is any concern there in the leg. So that is what I'm resting my hat on there. He's just rusty. I put it down to him being a bit rusty, because he only played like half a game last week, didn't he, in the Richmond game? And he only played No, I think he played the full game. Yeah, but he was on and off the ground on the interchange and switched around a bit. So, I think he's a bit rusty, and he hasn't played for a while. Hadn't played much last year. So, when you consider we had 4 or 5 players who only played half a season, or even 9 games, who played today. Reid hadn't played a lot of footy. Mackay hadn't played a lot of footy. So there's a lot to like. There's still a lot to work on. We're not premiership contenders. We're kidding ourselves if we think we're premiership contenders. Yeah, exactly. But we can scare a few teams, and I think we'll be competitive against a few sides. We should be beating North Melbourne and Richmond and West Coast and those sort of teams. But what I want to see wins is not just scraping over the line. Let's get to a good 40, 50-metre win, 40, 50-point win, a good 30-point, They're the sort of wins you want, because they're the ones that give confidence. The boys can sing the song with a bit of confidence. And we didn't just fall in and scrape another win against a low team. We're probably going to struggle against the good sides. Brisbane are a mile ahead of everybody else. But if we can be competitive and we can put it together. Hey, we almost beat Brisbane up at the Gabba. with half a team last year.
Half
So
a team. And that might have been Brisbane's attitude, thinking they're walking into an easy win too. That could very well. But you don't take any side lightly. You don't take any team lightly. Exactly. I had my dilemma, and I was really glad that my all-time favourite rock band is Tism, this Serious Mum. They are playing a concert at the Opera House. I've never seen a show at the Opera House in Sydney. Said, I have to see this. I have to go to this. And it turns out
chat.
It turns out it's the same weekend as the Adelaide games. So no, not going to affect my footy. Beautiful. I can go to the concert. No worries. Watch the game on TV. And now they're doing a secret show in Port Melbourne the same day we're playing Brisbane Lions. So, but I'm going to the Brisbane Lions game. Get everybody.
We need you at the footy and getting all the information. Yeah. All right, Noel.
Well, yeah. Look, thanks for having us on. Enjoy chatting to you. I was going to say Fiona Fuckface, but that's not nice.
What were you going to say?
I was going to call you Fiona Fuckface, like you normally get called.
I mean, better than what everybody else shortens my name to.
Yeah, I like the new opening, the new music opening.
Oh, thank you very much.
I was wondering, what the hell was this something new? It was great. I'm going to put some buffalo chicken wings on now and sit down and enjoy some of that. But thanks for chatting. Thanks everybody on Bomber Banter. Support, become a member, do all that stuff.
Actually, yes. Thank you, Noel, for that reminder. If you're here and you haven't hit subscribe, that would be very much appreciated, and I would love you for it. It is just going to help the channel enormously, more than you think. And of course, hit that like button. It just takes you 3 seconds to do. Some very exciting things in the works for you all. Hopefully one of them in the next couple of weeks, maybe. But of course, I'm not going to overshadow the season opener. So there's going to be lots of content coming your way moving forward. And I hope so many more of you are going to get involved as well. So thank you, Noel, constant contributor and supporter of Bomber Banter. We love you. Take care. See you soon. Bye. Enjoy your wings. Oof, some buffalo chicken wings. I know, Moby. My mouth is watering. All right, what's happening? What's rubbish, Paul? That's rubbish. That's the first comment I saw. So explain yourself. Adams, the right player types for more positions, and it's showing in areas that we usually get pants. Yeah, really good individual efforts from new players in areas that take this team further. Yeah, okay, I think I've come full 360 in realizing that the second half was a little bit disheartening, but I've come full 360 because of Thundercat Adams, that this was as much just trialing shit and trialing players. And it's not about a reminder, it's not about the scoreboard. Roberts is our next captain. Yeah, certainly got all the ingredients, doesn't he? Andy will need to play a lockdown role on Watson. Ooh, I think Jaden on Watson and Andy on Ginnivan. Hayden Johnson needs to be the first team. Play him all year, please. Yeah, as in first picked. After today, he was my best on. All right, chat, let's drop your best ons. We'll wrap up soon. If nobody else wants to jump in for a chat, I'll pop the link in one more. My mouse wants to work. I'll pop the link in one more time. Feel free to jump on for a little chat. You can tell me what you're having for dinner, whatever you like. But otherwise, we'll finish up soon. Tell me who you would have as your best on. Zach Johnson was mine. Yeah, a lot of these guys haven't played together. Absolutely. Josh, could Redmond be trialled further closer to our forward line or in it? Is that ridiculous? I mean, at this point, nothing's ridiculous. After last year and seeing players play completely out of position, I think with maybe Ridley going down, possibly that just makes the backline way too young and way too inexperienced. So probably not. And yeah, you're right, Luke. They have A graders, we don't. Yeah, that's a sad state of affairs. We've probably got some potential A graders, don't we? And certainly one on the sidelines in Nick Martin, and of course Zach Merritt is an A grader. He isn't performing at the moment. But again, like, he's professional enough to know that this is probably not where I'm hoping to speak that into existence, really. Has anyone ever heard anyone say, I love the stand rule unironically? Yeah. Don't make friends with anyone who says they love the stand rule. It is a stinker of a rule. An absolute stinker. The players hate it. The commentators hate it. The coaches hate it. It adds nothing to the game except confusion. And maybe it keeps the ball moving quicker because so many 50-meter penalties and so many goals result from it, and the AFL wants scoring. I don't know. I think it adds nothing personally. But no, if any of you like it, if there's anybody here who likes it, speak up. I want to hear from you. Sunstripe, Oppo let Rabbits run loose because he lacks poise and turns it over easily. Oh, I think that's a little bit harsh, personally, for mine. Yeah, he certainly was. They all were. His pressure was very good and he was doing it alone essentially, but yeah. Look, probably during a couple of chases, Caldwell. Well, he was doing a lot of it. Hate us. Brad has moved our best winger and Durstmain to the forward line. Send Pryor back to defence or to the VFL. That's probably my preference. All refreshed jumpers across the league today was red, black, white shorts, white numbers versus red, black. Okay, you can all read that. Would have mentioned umpires if it wasn't the colour clash. I didn't really notice a colour clash. Anybody else? Moby, we have recruited 2 very good wingers, X and Fiorini, and we have found one in Clark. So, of course, Brad needs to find someone else. The wing madness is making me crazy. Yeah. Although, until further notice, I'm choosing to believe it's experimentation and nothing more. Let's speak that into existence as well. Such early days as far as this team goes, though. I love how we'll already have great depth by the time some of them turn into proper stars. Has that even been done before? Good point. Good point. Look, the talent is there. The draft crop are there. We have another off season at the end of this year to get in some really good talent before Tassie hit. I know for a fact that they are pressing hard and working hard behind the scenes to lure a big fish. That is not anything new. That's not necessarily insider information for you guys. That is, you would hope that that's what's happening, but it is absolutely happening. I don't know. Who knows if we will land a big fish. Look at what St. Kilda did this year. They got 3 big fish. They splashed the cash. So who knows? We're probably going to have to do that before we can be a team that players come to because we're succeeding on the field. We're probably not at that point where we can succeed first, I don't think. We're going to need to splash some of that cash in the interim. But the hope is that you become the side that players want to come to. Not because it's a good payday, but because it's an elite organisation. Jace, this guy is great. Yes, Noel is absolute class and value for this channel. We do love him. Josh, Tom Hurd would be a great acquisition from today from what he's become. I'm not willing to say that yet. Or we should have kept Davey and trained him with both Huss and Kako. They could have taught him so much. That's interesting theory. Would either of the Davey twins be better with a Huss or a Kako around them or with them? Was there too much left up to put on their shoulders or left up to them to do without much help in that department? It's an interesting theory. I think we should try and win in the forward line, yes. Old Peter from Track Watcher, Peter, is big on this. Yep, TL. Blackiston, yes, of course. How could I forget as the best? His first quarter was elite. And I can't quite remember who tweeted it, the name of the account, but I did retweet it saying that he just absolutely pantsed like the highest paid ruckman in the league. And granted, De Koning is very good. I'm a big fan of him, but Blackiston was insanely good. Yep, Johnson best on ground. You're having some pastina. Yep, some brother. Lovely. Yeah, he did. Yeah, which is exactly why we got him. His kicking was off a little bit, I thought, in the first half, but the second half he was really, really good. Still a lot of long bombs without an actual target. Yeah. Yes, that was good. He used his weight, every bit of it in the back line there. He was in a lot of the ruck. He was doing a lot of the ruck work, wasn't he? Teams set up to make opposition bomb. Poorly functioning teams lack the structure and cohesion to filter through it and thus bomb. Don't know. I'm just getting the feeling, Sunstripe, that you're just not a fan of the coach. Just don't know. Just a gut feel. Brett, you liked Robbo. Yep. Zach Johnson. You reckon? Oh, I don't reckon the AFL are brave enough to come out and do that. It's what needs to happen, but yeah, he's a funny one, Joseph. Funny one. I thought it wasn't so much his disposal, but like he kind of juggled a few marks and then dropped them. I don't know, a few weird things, a bit in his head. He was in his head, I think, a little bit too much. Clark was nowhere near the ball to call standing. Oh, yeah, just ridiculous. Best on, yep, Johnson. Robertson, Haas. Yeah, I agree. I think Langford was, again, as I said earlier, he had a very inexperienced opposition player on him, but I think he had presence and one-on-one, sticky hands, strong sticky hands when we put it out in front to him. Kobe who? Bryant? What's happened to the baggage training? Just simplifying things a little bit. Actually, friend of the channel and everyone will know, lovely Jade Hocking, who does a lot of content or gives us a lot of content from training, was very, very generous. I'm a very lucky girl. And she's got me a Peterite training top. Nice little signature there. So I'm going to have to put this one into rotation too, of course. Brad, please, Essendon, do whatever it takes to get Butters pun on the pun. Yeah, you're forgiven for that. I've cleansed that pun. I've cleansed it officially. You can all use it now. It has no effect. It does not have a chokehold on us. Ooh, take Naz out of the team. Look, I still think they've got some class, but they would look very different without Naz. You're right. It's a good point. We do have plenty of cash. We have a lot of cash. A lot of cash. Did the AFL team play today? Marsh from... Oh, hello, Marshy. How's life in Jakarta? They did play today. The last practice match before the real thing starts. What happened to our sponsor on the front looks weird. Maybe a sponsor in the pipeline. Yeah, it's getting very close to D-Day for the sponsor too. I don't know when we're going to reveal the sponsor. I was told that it was locked in was it a month ago? Time has no concept to me. A lot on the shoulders, but didn't seem up to it. Same with their bodies. I felt like I have to dissect that comment. Yeah, me too. He has my whole heart. But I knew that was going to happen. I knew small forwards were just going to take hold of me. I've been banging on about him for 10 years. Hello, from a St Kilda fan. That first half you guys were competitive. Think you guys ran out of legs in the second half. Thank you for joining and your contributions. You're always welcome here. Yeah, I think that's a good summation. We certainly tied in the second half. You guys, I mean, you got the true magical unicorn in Naz. Lots of class. I think a lot of people are going to underestimate what you guys do this year. So forward line needs to be Caddy, Wright, May, Langford, Haas, Kako. So who's missing then if we have May in there? Someone's missing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and Dersma, I guess. That's quite tall and quite big and maybe too slow. Overpowered in the end. Yeah, he certainly ran out of legs, which is understandable. Reading between the lines, I'm starting to think Sunstrop considers that on balance our coach. Yeah, I'm getting that. I don't know why. I could be off the mark here, guys, but just getting a feeling. Brad also feels like that. A lot of blaming the coach creeping in. I think the coach is fine. Look, honestly, I don't know. I don't know that anybody can know one way or the other. All I know is that he took a very inferior team to a prelim final multiple occasions at North, and He's turned over 33 players, unlike Ross Lyon, who hasn't done the same thing in the same amount of time at his club. And so I don't know. I am reserving judgment until I see a team full of players who can, I guess, hit basic skills and make targets. I don't know if they can even play to a game plan. How do you know if you can play to a game plan if you haven't seen a full team, a healthy team do it? I like Blackerson v TDK and Marshall for a first-year ruckman. Yeah, he did really well, didn't he, Mark? That's true. They do play opening round. I actually thought Ross Lyon was going to play a few mind games and maybe rest half the team in the second half. But maybe we did that. Brad, Dyson Sharp is a stud. Yeah, he's a stud in many, many ways, but particularly on the field. He's just pure, a natural footballer. I just love him. I love him so much. Chicken Parmigiana and a Jim Beam, or 5. Nice. Very nice. Butters, we have Butters at home, but it's our ground ball gets. Who do we have at home that's Butters, please? TL? I don't know. If I had the cash, I would be. Absolutely. Hey, if you all sign up for memberships, maybe then I could then become a sponsor. Not really. Not even close. You really need a Roberts name jersey or caddy hanging. Yeah, I do. I've got Boba Banter royalty officially, I need a Fiorini one and a Sharp one or something to shine their royalty on this channel. Not sure we show enough to get Butters. Yeah, that's my gut feel, I think. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, well said, Toph. Look, I'm adamant he's signed with the Dogs. That's what my spidey sense says. Reading between his lines and things he said throughout last year, I think he's signed with the Dogs already, spiritually. Cobber, Parrish playing as an outside mid is a problem. Oh, my gosh. Yes, thank you for bringing this up. He was outside of the contest a lot and waiting for the ball. I don't know if that's by design or that was his own positioning, but no good. No good, in my opinion. Thank you for bringing that up. St Kilda could be top 4. Ooh, top 4. Not sure about that, Brendan. But again, who knows? Anything can happen, right? 30 plays in 3 years. Is that what I said? Okay. Yeah, that's what it is. 33 players in... Well, you just made me question myself. It was 33 players in 3 years. I'm pretty sure that's the number. Brad Scott, highly disliked by North Pass players. Why? Is he? I know David King is not a fan, right? Outwardly. He makes no apologies in hiding that. Are there others? I cannot confirm nor deny. Actually shocked we never got Blundstone as a sponsor. Just seems like a great sponsor. Did huge for the MotoGP and touring cars. I think Brad is doing a good job. People need to remember our squad is the second youngest. That's, again, second youngest and second least inexperienced as well. Is it too early to sign up the new boys to long contracts? But I think we have to wait the draftee contracts first. Interesting. I'm not a fan of Ross Lyon, but you can see the game plan in however many years I've watched us under Scott. Hand on heart, I can't see what it's supposed to be. He's going this year. Look, I think that's a fair comment. It's true. Ross Lyon's game plan is very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? I've run out of brain cells. It's obvious, I guess, for want of putting it a better way. It's very obvious and easy to decipher. I think Brad Scott and the coaches put more emphasis on player development than game plan. Now, I know a lot of you are going to say, well, our players haven't developed, but I would challenge that personally. But this is a good point. That's a fair point. I think if Brad Scott got Ken Hinkley his right-hand man, it would be a huge difference. Well, I tell you what, after Ken Hinkley in the commentary booth this year, his stocks are going to rise even more for next year. He was highly sought after this year. I think his stocks are going to rise high. Maybe do we think that's the strategy? That could be the strategy. Just get a better payday, I reckon. How many minutes did Zach play in the middle? Not many, I don't think. Are the stats out for that yet? Or do we have stats on that? I don't think he played many at all. You got Saints top 4 too, TL. Wow, I didn't realize so many of you had the Saints so high up. Interesting. Very interesting. You think we need Zach Bailey more than Butters? Yeah, interesting. That's true. Just because his game plan is decipherable doesn't mean really much. Yes, did they play finals last year? No, they're probably gonna this year from what we've seen in a practice match or 2 practice matches. But to be fair, he's won as many grand finals as Brad Scott has won. That's true. To be fair, the plays weren't developed flooding the D50. True. Very true. All righty, everyone. We might end it here, hey? Thank you to everyone who came on. Thank you to everyone who has joined tonight. It's been lots of you here throughout the night. The real stuff starts in a couple of weeks, of course. Please, if you're here and you haven't just yet hit that subscribe button, please do that. Very, very important. And the like button. I'm super grateful for all of you. Thank you to each and every one of you members. As I said, means a lot and helps the channel immensely. A lot of content coming your way in the next couple of weeks. As I said, a few little exciting things in the works as well. So thank you all for your support on all the channels, of course, as well. Instagram, Facebook, X, wherever you are. The content is there as well. Thank you. Oh, sorry, just reading the rest of the comments. Okay, officially. All right, everyone. Have a good rest of the weekend. Try and watch the VFL tomorrow if you get a chance. Keep an eye on some of Jones is the other one I forgot to say is playing VFL as well tomorrow, who will be good to get some minutes into. I still don't know where he fits in this team, but we'll find out, I guess. Good depth, if nothing else. So, all right, everyone, enjoy the rest of the weekend, and I'll see you soon.